Explosion Network podcast is never late, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they're meant to. Welcome to the Lord of the Rings Extended, a Middle-earth podcast from explosionnetwork.com. Welcome to the Lord of the Rings Extended, a Middle-earth podcast. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, Ashley Hobbit.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here when Kieran is going to be super depressed.
Also here, Kieran Marcher.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here where I'm going to be super depressed.
This week we are talking about The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. Synopsis: Bilbo and company are forced to engage in a war against an array of combatants and keep the Lonely Mountain from falling into the hands of a rising darkness. Of course, directed by P. Jackson, written by Fran, Walsh, Philippa, Boyens, P. Jackson, Guillermo del Toro, based on the novel The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Let's not beat around the bush. Kieran, how'd you feel watching this movie today?
Really, I fell asleep and I had to rewind and watch 20 minutes of it again because I slept through part of it.
Really? Where'd you fall asleep?
Like, the last section before Thorin
Was it when one of
died.
the armies were fighting?
Yeah. It was literally. I think I woke up and Feely was dead, and I was like, I should probably. I think I missed a bit here, guys. I need to go back and try and slog through this because, fuck, it's bad. Can anybody a quick game show before we get on to the other game show I run? That
All right, yeah, sure.
How many pages is the Battle of Five Army in the Hobbit book?
Got to be
I'm
at
gonna
least
guess,
100, 200, right?
I'm gonna guess somewhere between around 15.
3.
but Tolkien was like, man, I should have I got to stretch this out.
No,
I could have made
He
this its own
didn't
novel.
have the goblins
foresight.
and everything though.
No, but there were still 5 armies. But Bilbo gets knocked out and misses most of it.
So he did a Tyrion.
Yeah, he 100%
Did a
does a
Tyrion,
Tyrion.
damn it. But that was for money reasons.
Yeah, that was for budget because I didn't want to do another army.
Yeah.
But also budget reasons. The original Battle of Five Armies only contained about 6,000 people, unlike this one that seemed to have hundreds of thousands of people involved in this one because there was fucking stuff happening.
It's a big
everywhere.
deal. It's a big mountain.
It was a big. No, this movie's bad, guys. This movie's just real bad. There's just it is. If somehow people didn't think they were already scratching for filler stuff, then this movie is all filler. I love that synopsis doesn't mention the fact that at the end of the last movie, Smaug was flying towards Lake Town, and isn't dead yet. But the synopsis just doesn't mention him at all. And then
I think if we had watched all 3 of these movies before recording the podcast, we would have got to recording them, and I may have forgot if Smaug dies at the end of that movie or at the start of this one, because if I watched them all in a row, I would have forgot where it actually took place.
Yep. And let's be honest, I know they wanted to be a spectacle, but Smaug carpet bombs Lake Town. Lake Town is just fucked, which doesn't happen in the book. Lake Town's fine in the book, has a bit of damage, but they're good. They don't need to go on a trek to Dawn or anything. Bard's all good. He's like, hey, I saved the town. What up, homies? I don't know. This movie makes Middle-earth feel very small. Very, very small. Because fucking Thingamy's a brother, uncle, cousin. That's the word. Who's Billy Connolly.
That was
Rest
crazy
his
when I saw it in
soul.
credits.
Is Billy Connolly. I think this might be his last role.
Could be, yeah.
I think this could be his last role.
What a way to go, become king of the mountain, right?
King of the
King
Mountain.
under the mountain.
He rocks up in a day and a half. Somehow gets a Raven. Raven says, "What up, Holmes? We got the mountain back. Need you to bring your bros over here." And then he somehow manages to get all of his little goatee boys and everything over to him. And it's this is... And then Legolas is Legolas and rides half of Middle-earth in the space of what feels like a couple hours because Angmar is a lot further away from the line. I don't know. It just makes the whole of Middle Earth feel very small. A lot of the fighting is very pointless, and I don't know. There's just it's so nothing, this movie, and it just shows that the source content is not much. Bilbo is once again, a very he's not the main character. He doesn't. The best thing he does is, and that's part of the climax of The Hobbit, the book, is that Bilbo steals the Arkenstone and uses it to, and gives it back to Bard and say, Bard, go and use it to barter. This movie just feels gross. I just don't enjoy it. I haven't enjoyed any of these. Everybody knows that. It's just,
oh, really?
It's just everybody enjoys that.
This is just a sudden turn of events.
The only positive for stuff they've added to this or changed is I kind of really like what they've done with Thranduil in this movie, because he's not a big player in the Lord of the Rings books. He's not a big player in The Hobbit. He's one of these elves that's just, most well known for being Legolas's dad and just being an all-around not a nice person. And I think this gives him a level of kind of, not levity, but a light to his character. And I actually really appreciate his conversation with Legolas at the end, even though it's just like Legolas is just being a mopey little bitch. And
it's your favorite phrase tonight.
Yeah, look, it wasn't mine. Somebody else has coined it on
that's
me.
true.
And,
sorry.
And I'm going to attack back on Legolas with it. This movie is just bad.
What do you think, Ash?
It's long. That's what I would say. Not a lot of
not much happens
discernible
for how
plot.
long it is.
It's like 75% fighting, right? Which is fun. You'd think that would be fun. You think that would be a good time. All the battles in Lord of the Rings, they're really cool. 75% of the movie.
You'd think with giant worms coming out of the ground, you would have some really cool like fight sequences of like your heroes taking down a worm in a really cool way, right?
No, worms don't like to light. That's why they went back inside.
Like immediately. They were like...
Also, where were the orcs when the worm was in the tunnel?
Behind it.
Like, was there like a quick gap underneath, or like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Nope.
There's a bit of fun throughout the thing, It's like there's certain segments that are enjoyable, but it is quite long. I think I broke it down. It's like the first hour is that like them setting up to the battle. Then they like battle for an hour, and then they battle on the waterfall for like 30 minutes, and then they wrap everything up. So also, like, they wait like 45 minutes before the hobbits, the dwarves that we've all known for the last 2 movies, get involved. So, good times. It's all right. There's some cool, interesting moments. Mostly Legolas like doing crazy acrobatic shit. I think they turned down like the color tuning on his eyes this movie. It's not as bright that I was complaining about last movie. I think that would be bit good. I think Thorin's like storyline was like kind of resolved, like started up like super quickly, like whole dragon sickness, whatever, and then resolved very quickly out of nowhere. He's like, "Hey, I'm in this hole. I'm hallucinating this dragon. I'm all better now." And then they come out. It's fine. It kind of has a bit of an underwhelming ending as well. I mean, hey, Gandalf's here. I guess it just ties straight into the next movie, but
I
would have liked it more. Something.
It
only had the one ending, whereas the Lord of the Rings had like 6 or 7. So,
now, in the book, this point in the book was Tolkien being like, right, the dragon's dealt with. That was the main issue with this book. We just need to wrap it up now. We're just wrapping it up. We're just getting this nice and wrap. And like they still skip over the cool bits where like Gandalf and Bilbo quickly go and dig up the troll's treasure to take, and that's where Bilbo gets his fortune from and stuff. It's not just a random chest that Bilbo's got under his arm for no reason at the end of the movie, and you're like, huh? Okay. Sure thing. And I like the scene where they're selling off his stuff. That's a classic, because they try and do that again to Frodo.
Yeah. Bunch of dicks, these hobbits. Gone on a holiday for 30 months and they think you're dead.
I went into this knowing I didn't like it when I watched it at the cinema. I think I enjoyed this extended cut a lot more than the original though. Like, I'm not saying suddenly I think the movie's great.
What was added?
Well, one of my favorite things in this that I straight away was like, that wasn't in it because I'm actually enjoying this, was I actually thought the sequence where they're in the few dwarves get in that like chariot and absolutely
that plus I think it's Boffa, I can't remember which one. It's the actor that I really like, Ian thingy. He's on like the blind one with like the chains attached to its eyes and I think all of that stuff was added.
Yeah. So I looked it up. So some parts were extended or changed, but that whole part on the chariot, like that whole like several minute sequence, all of that's brand new. Like none of that was in it. Because I was like, I don't remember any of this.
It's got to be raining.
It was a violence thing. Because they're like just shredding up faces.
They're just taking heads off everywhere. I'm like,
but
wow, this is way more violent than I have to remember.
I thought that was probably the funnest action sequence in all three of these movies.
Of course you did. It's like Fast and Furious, Lord of the Rings.
No, but it was like generally really good, I thought. I thought it was generally like the best out of all three of these movies. I thought that was actually a well put together, like as far as like a CGI based action scene goes. I thought that was actually quite
ludicrous
fun
as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like it was fun. Like I enjoyed it. So there was that. I feel like there was a couple other things that I added to this that made it a little more. So the thing is, like, the reason I didn't like this movie in the cinema was it was like they rushed through the cliffhanger of the last movie, and then that's resolved. And it's like
straight off. That's
a weird way to start the movie. I really thought that would be like a lot longer, but whatever. And then the movie drags, I feel, until you get to the army stuff, like the battle scene, but then the battle scene goes forever. So it's like the movie is just like a mixture of like either dragging or just going for too long. There's never any particularly good pacing. I don't feel.
And I feel like it was this. He got added a lot more in the extended cut. There was a lot of screen time for the master's like servant / henchman guy.
I think that was there. I think that was always.
I'm pretty sure all of that.
It was always meant to be comedic relief.
Yeah, comedic. Yeah.
And then he flat out dies by being thrown into the mouth of a fucking
troll
or some shit. I was like, holy fuck. Okay, I can't remember that
good
level
bit.
of.
It is a good bit. The coin doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
It's like, because it fell on its side, it suddenly clicks the mechanism. I don't know. But I'm glad he's dead.
Some other things that I think made it better too were just some little scenes that I did look up after the fact because I didn't think I could remember them. Like, so for example, when Bilbo goes to sneak out for the first time and he has that discussion with, I can't remember the character's name, but the dwarf who's like, you know.
I think that, let me give it on it because it's
where he's like.
No. It's the same guy I was trying to.
Yeah, where he's like, I understand Bilbo, blah, blah, blah.
That is Boffa.
Okay, that's Boffa. So I thought that seemed like added a lot for like character for him and then also for Bilbo. And that wasn't in the original. So I thought that was quite good. And then also there's like the funeral scene they have right at the end. That wasn't in the theatrical cut either. Long live the king and all that sort of stuff. Like I feel like there's actually a few scenes in here. Like nothing they add takes away from the problems. But I do feel like for the most part, there's a lot that they do add that sort of makes the movie a little bit better. I think it's more so than the other two extended cuts we watched. I felt like this one had a lot more scenes in it that sort of helped mitigate some of the problems because the movie is just like 2 hours of a fight for the most part. So having these little character moments and stuff added in, or even better action scene stuff like moments happen, I thought was quite good. So I think it's the weakest. I don't know, like probably or the weakest. Yeah, I'll have to think about it for a minute longer, but of all of them. But I didn't totally hate it as much as I did the first time. But that's also because I knew I knew what I was.
You
in
know
for
what you're
this
going
time.
into, yeah.
Yeah, I knew what I'm getting into. I remember when I watched this in the cinema, I was like really disappointed. I came out feeling like, because I got so hyped, and then it's just, you know, when you watch a movie like you're really hyped for, like I don't know. It's happened a lot this year. But yeah, and then you come out the cinema and you're just like, you know, you're just like,
yeah, like Jurassic World Domain.
Yeah, Dominion. Yeah,
that's Dominion. That's the one.
Yeah, that was very similar. So, I mean, overall,
like
that's how I felt. No. Yeah. But I don't mind the ending stuff either. Like because they start this franchise by connecting it to Fellowship, and then I don't think it's bad like having it end with
there is a weird part of me, despite really not enjoying this movie. There is a part of me, thanks to my love of Lord of the Rings, that scene makes me feel warm and fuzzy, and like almost sad in many ways. I don't know. It feels.
What you're saying is it redeemed the movie?
No.
I don't like. I think the Toriel and Philly. No, is it Philly? No, who was it? Killy. Sorry, Killy and Toriel stuff is way worse in this than it was.
100%. It is so rushed. I want to throw up when she's like, "Oh, if this is what love feels like, I don't want it." I'm like, what do you mean? You guys have barely spent any time together or done anything that would show any love.
Kieran, it was love at first sight. Love is love.
Fucking hell.
You know? But no, I mean, that only softened it up so Lee Pace could be like a nice guy. You know, no?
I do enjoy seeing Lee Pace like kick ass in this movie.
Yeah. Got to be cool.
Dude, I remember being like the only part I was super impressed or like that was fucking awesome was him on his fucking stag mount lifting up like 6 guys and chopping all of their heads off in one swing. I was like, that's awesome.
There's also the part where he gets kicked off the stag or whatever, tripped up, but then like he does a tumble roll and lands perfectly or whatever, like so gracefully.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Some good shit. Billy Connolly on his war pig. That was a lot of fun. Just smashing people with hammers while riding a pig. How could you not enjoy that?
This was his last major role. He had one.
He was in like a Lifetime movie after this as well.
Yeah.
And then he's also been doing a bunch of like TV specials. So
yeah, he did like narration and stuff. But yeah,
don't know if I'd count that.
Dude, I thought what was really cool was like, this is me nerding out about fantasy ideas and stuff, but the dwarves like like arrows.
Arrows?
Arrow mechanism. I was like, that's fucking sick. That was so cool. I can't remember that from the actual movie. I don't know. Maybe I was just that disappointed in life at the time of watching it originally. But yeah, I was awake for that bit.
I would have been interested to see them like fire it. There's the thing. You know, how did it's cool in the air seeing it, but how did it actually get up there, you know?
Well, I think it's just like it starts as like a javelin, and they just throw it out of one of those, the bigger trebuchet, not trebuchet, but like one of those carts. And then once it's in the air, it starts spinning and it like flicks out the.
Yeah, it would have to be some sort of like rope or something. Like.
Yeah,
but then you have to make sure it's spinning as well. When you shoot it, it can't just be sort of flat.
The
dwarves are
smart. I feel like this movie makes dwarves really shit. Like just in general, it just like this 3 movies even just makes dwarves shit as hell. Like I don't know, just there's the only like I really like Boffer. I really like his couple moments he gets throughout this with Bilbo, and he gets a more touching moment with Bilbo. But like especially those 13 dwarves, like they are. Reading the books, they're such a family, they're such an interesting group, and they all have moments with Bilbo, and they all have interactions. And even though there is so much time and so much space in this movie, those characters get watered down into nothingness, and they don't have any personality to several of them. Like, you remember, like, the fat one, and then there's Keely and Feely, because they look kind of human, they don't really look like dwarves. and there's like, you know, a couple of them, but then there's like a good majority middle group that is just like, who the fuck who you are or what you're doing or
What are you
anything.
talking about? I know all about Nori, Dory, Buffer, Glon, Dwalin, Balin, Oin.
Did you just pronounce Gloin wrong?
I'm reading it how I'm reading it. Bomber, Biffa.
You
Ori.
just got Gloin, father of Gimli, wrong. Oh my god. They had a whole scene in the last movie. They had a whole scene in the last movie to
The
point
way
that
it's spelled
out.
is Gloin. So I mean,
Gloin!
I couldn't remember what his name was in the actual movie.
Fucking hell. It's fucking...
I think that is like the biggest like criticism you can point out about all three of these movies is that you have all these characters and
You have 3 movies.
P. Jackson stretches it out to 3 movies, yet you really feel like you got fuck all time to get to know barely any of these characters. And you're like, what did we even do for 3 movies? Like, what did we do? What did we achieve by making 3 movies?
You know, and that's the from it. Like, is yes, they stretched it out to 3 movies, but they didn't add stuff about the dwarves. They added stuff about Thorin, I guess, and they added the goblin stuff, and
they gave a romance to Killy.
And they gave a romance to somebody, and they just, it's just, you know, hey, fucking, we got to see Elrond and everybody come and save Gandalf.
Yep.
Come and save Gandalf.
They just
and-
came in and
about
saved Gandalf, yeah.
Fucking, you know.
Team up. Saruman comes in. He's like, oh, fight you guys. He's like, that was pretty cool.
Peter Jackson.
This was too easy. How about I come to your side and we'll see what happens?
It's just, you know, we better in
Even it
movie
up.
form make it obvious that Gandalf was cucking Lady Galadriel's husband because something's going on there at all times and it's always alluded to and she's very protective of him. And it's just a very,
Who's her husband?
Her husband is, I can't remember the king's name. He's freaking...
You know, it's quite funny that a movie about a character getting obsessed with money and then it's almost like the director was obsessed with money and then got lost on the way and stretched it out into 3 movies. You know.
I mean, I guess the interesting question would be asked, like, what crazy parallel world would it have been if Guillermo del Toro had made these movies?
I mean, would he have made 3?
Yeah.
The problem.
The thing is, I don't think 3 was a Peter Jackson decision. 3 is a studio decision.
Probably is a studio decision, yeah.
Because I can see 2 movies out of this.
I can see 2.
I can see 2. I think 2 works, but 3 doesn't. 3's just too much extra.
Or
crap,
3 doesn't work with what they're like. 3 you could maybe do, but you really have to the material you add needs to be not what they added here, but actual stuff that makes
Like,
you care more about the characters and stuff.
If you compare this to Lord of the Rings,
Which we will.
Lord of the Rings just feels like it's much more of a grand adventurer, and it has so much more it has to do. It has so many characters competing for screen time, yet you feel
You
like
know who they all are.
you know all who they are, you know about their character types, you know why they're doing what they're doing. You get time to connect with all the characters. And they do that really well, starting with Fellowship, or before everybody gets like scattered to the wind and they start going in all different directions. It just feels like they haven't done that with these 3 movies, which is ridiculous because you had more time with less content. Like, you could have had more of those moments and more of those character things in there.
Maybe we're just all being specious and we're thinking that all dwarves look the same, so.
No, because they don't. Their appearances were the only thing that made them any different from each other.
But yet you don't know any of their names.
Rank the Hobbit movies, okay?
Rank the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Easy. Unexpected Journey, Desolation of Smaug, Battle of 5 Armies.
Yeah, that's how.
probably
Yeah.
fair,
Yeah, they steadily get fucking shitter. Like
they get worse.
It's almost it in many ways it just feels like they've started in, and it's better because Unexpected Journey has so much more content that comes directly from the book. It has minimal added stuff in it. But at the same time, I think that's part of the problem because Unexpected Journey took such a massive bite
Chunk.
out of like the main of the book that the next two movies they're like, what the fuck do we do now? Like, how
Well, they had
do
to
we?
get to the mountain, I assume. So
Well, the thing is, right? They could have. I honestly think they could, if they really wanted to do 3 movies, they didn't have to get to the mountain until the third one. I actually think they could have made it wait until the third one and have the dwarves finally arriving at the Lonely Mountain being the end of the second movie. Instead of having this weird, like, half and half where it's like, Smaug's flying towards Lake Town. You'll see it at the start of the next movie, boys. It's just have Smaug be, it's you compare 5 armies, cool, it's 5 armies, but then you compare it to a giant fucking dragon played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Why not make that your fucking central bad guy and centerpiece for the movie, Like, just for all 3, just do it.
yeah. Couple of things. The thing that confused me is why, like, obviously he killed Smaug at the start of the film. Why aren't they, raiding the body?
All
I know from fantasy, it could have landed on some of the houses. They could have been held up a little bit.
It didn't, because you saw it start sinking as soon as it landed on the.
They should have. They're getting diving crews. From all I stand from fantasy novels.
Sorry,
dragon scales.
Crews?
Yep,
diving crews.
They live on a lake. You don't think they got diving crews?
No, I don't think they do have diving crews. There's nothing to suggest there's air tanks or anything of the sort in fucking Lord of the Rings.
You could just dive down freestyle. Snorkels. I don't know how deep this lake is. All I know is the dragon scales are very expensive and like a big deal in fantasy novels. So
but
why
also,
they
they must be a real cunt to get off. Like, they must be really annoying. They had to make a fucking black arrow to even get... They had to use 2 black arrows. One to get the scale off and one to kill him. Even though that black arrow was fucking effective. I don't even know.
It was.
Like, dude just got...
It did. It just like went straight through to something.
Just hit him hard, and then he was
I
like...
thought it was just being embedded a little bit, but no, straight through to... I don't know.
His heart?
I assume it was his heart, but it didn't look like his heart would be where the arrow would.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I mean?
It's a weird
Or maybe they just can't take any, hit a major artery, bled out really fast.
Possibly.
Got to pump the blood real quick in a dragon body.
Maybe it hit its like fire gland and like fire was spewing
burnt
out
up inside.
Yeah. Yep.
Possible.
Yep.
Possible. It was a cool moment, making the makeshift bow on his kid's shoulder.
Dude, that is...
I don't think it's very realistic.
It's like... The thing is, right, to me, I was like, that would fucking destroy your son's shoulder.
Small price to pay.
Like, it would destroy his shoulder and tear into it if it was to run that black arrow across his shoulder to... I don't know. It's
That's true, Fuck the kid. That's what he said. Go take this dragon down. And the dragon lands on Stephen Fry, right? That's the thing.
Does indeed. Lands on his...
What a way to go.
Yep.
On his gold. To clarify, what were the 5 armies?
So 5 armies were the humans from Lake Down, the elves, the dwarves, the army from where Sauron was, and the army from Angmar.
Okay. I figured that was the case, but I wanted to...
Yeah, those are the 5, which is shit.
I mean, the human army's not... It's a bit of a stretch, but...
Okay.
More like a militia or like a bunch of survivors.
The battle of the 4 armies and 1 militia.
There was a lot of scenes where it would like pan over the elves and like the human army in the middle of them, and they just looked like a people that were like, "Why are we here?
Why are we doing this?
Why
this
are we doing this shit? Why are we here right now? We don't look like we're like they're not using shields. They're using wicker baskets as a shield. Like it was."
You saw those old ladies were like, "We're not going to stand here. We're going to fight with their men." The cowardly.
I don't know. There was just. I feel like one of the things is The Hobbit. The Hobbit is written as a children's book in 1938, I feel like they have tried so hard to bring this to an adult audience, and bring this to the audience that watch Lord of the Rings, and they've felt the need to all right, we need to have panning shots over people that have died in this war, because it's a war of armies and they died. It's just, it's very. The only thing I will say, and my only minor good point before we go into something else, is I actually appreciate how Bilbo and Thorin's last moments, because in the books, Bilbo is wearing a helmet and he gets knocked out, gets hit on the head, gets knocked out. In the movie, he's hit on the head without a helmet and he's fine. He wakes up after the battle is fucking been and done. Everything's done. And Thorin dies. Thorin is dying because he got hit by some stray arrows. And so,
friendly fire.
Yeah, either whatever. We don't know. But the whole point is that Bilbo runs off to his tent and he's like, I held on, and Thorin held on because he wanted to see Bilbo before he died. And they have the conversation. And I think this is a lot due to Martin Freeman's performance in that moment, but him visibly going through denial and trying to talk Thorin through that moment, and then realizing that no, Thorin's actually dying, and having those moments of peace and kind of serenity before his death is actually really special. I am a bit annoyed and sad that Keely and Feely in the book die defending Thorin and trying to save Thorin. Instead of in this one, they die, one of them to kind of fuel a love interest, and the other one, it's, I feel like, supposed to be like a shock and awe, the bad guys here moment. I don't feel like their deaths are, but because we won't have to do this at all for Lord of the Rings, because there's nothing to toss into the fire of Mount Doom.
Can I say I loved how
apart from a ring,
how what's his face, Azog died. You think it's all over? He fell into the water. He's going to die, drowning in the water, and then he comes out of the waterfall like a bitch, like a mean bitch, plain dead. He was playing possum the entire time under the water, holding his breath. Took a strike. But yeah, that sounds, him getting stabbed and then in the process of killing Azog, sounds better than oh no, I took a bullet to the knee. Took an arrow to the knee.
I used to be a king of the Lonely Mountain until I took an arrow to the knee. So, let's throw some shit in the fires of Mount Doom. And we're starting with the full destruction and carpet bombing of Lake Town. Lake Town in this movie is just smoldering, just destroyed, and it forces the members of Lake Town to walk up to Dale to hunker down. I guess to me, I don't think this is a massive change, but at the same time, because I feel like I need to, just throw it into the fucking fire. We don't need Bard and them moving around. We don't need a bunch of refugees. We don't need them randomly moving closer to.
What do you got against refugees?
We don't, but we don't we see that so much already in Lord of the Rings. We already have fucking the Rohirrans moving from Helm's Deep, and then people moving in everywhere. It's we don't need that. We don't need them moving everybody up closer to the Lonely Mountain. I guess I get it because they want the spectacle of Dale being ransacked and the spectacle of the fighting in Dale, but to me, it could just be thrown in the fire.
I'm keeping it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty thrilling. I think it's Smaug's scary here, and I like how much he absolutely destroys the. I think the problem is that it's over 10 minutes into the movie and it wasn't a bigger part. But as far as an idea and execution goes, I think it's good. Just not. Yeah. It should have been a bigger part of the movie, and that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, just the generally destroying the village, I think is good.
It should have been the ending of the last movie.
Yeah,
some would argue. Yeah.
The the Power Rangers-esque superhero team-up, Mission Impossible style Fast and Furious Steven, not DVD players, but Gandalf's heart, Gladriel coming in, saving the boy Gandalf, and then being like, yo, I ain't by myself. And Saruman rocks up, and Elrond rocks up, and they all have this big party, which is just entirely unneeded and further is there to drive the story of Lord of the Rings, and to have this moment of, it's okay, guys, Saruman's gonna go and sort out Sauron, it's fine. This shit could just be gone. Just be gone. This whole, we've already said it, this whole storyline can be gone from these movies. Just fucking into the fires, please.
Yeah, I'll put it in the fire.
No, I would reforge it, clean it up a little bit, maybe she's like on your left and then there's like a glowing yellow circle coming in.
Oh my god.
That would hit better with audiences these days,
Do you know, it's supposed, right? This is supposed to insinuate or suggest that Gladriel uses the last of her power in this fight, and it's why she can't be as much of a help in Lord of the Rings. Is they try and use this as like a weird explanation for her using the last of her ring, and
but she does help in Lord of the Rings.
No, but she doesn't, she isn't a combative help. Like, she's she offers advice and stuff, but at the same time, she's like, hey, I can give you this stuff, and Gimli, I can give you the locks of my hair, you simp, but we can't, I can't do anything else. Like, I can't
remember that part. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, that's like, wow.
No, I think that
you're giving Killy all these issues, and apparently Gimli was all over.
Gimli was a simp for Gladriel, and it's it's way cooler in the books. In the movie, it's kind of near. Okay, it went from 3 pages to round about 2 hours. The Battle of 5 Armies. Watching Billy Connolly rock up on his freaking goat pig thing. We got the 2 armies of orcs and goblins that are apparently different, but are kind of the same army. We got the humans that are wondering where they got the Uber to the wrong location. And, Thandra was just like, hey, our elves are here to fuck shit up and get us some gems. It's I think the extended cut does make it a lot better, a lot more fun with the kart scene and with Boffa taking control of the blind troll. But as a whole, for me, it's a reforge. I think you could do better. We can streamline it a bit more. We can make it more cohesive. We don't have to spend as long kind of trying to building up stakes or setting the battlefield too much. 100% reforge it into something new.
I too reforge it.
Yeah, I think you could adapt it, adjust it, to be a bit quicker. That's a definite. Side note: do we think what's his face, Thranduil ever got his jewels?
I don't believe so. No.
Do they have more sentimental value than he was letting on, or?
I think they are. They are, if I remember rightly, they are a kind of a elven legend about stars that have fallen to Earth, and that those are the legendary stars themselves. And I think in the lore, maybe deep down, Thranduil had previously promised them to his wife before she died. But I'm not 100% on that one, so don't quote me.
Should have explained it. Explained the situation. They would have been handed to him.
Nah, because he doesn't want to weigh himself to dwarves. He ain't about that. He's just nah.
Just an example of show some emotion, and then people be nice to you.
He ain't about that life. Finally, no. I got 2 more.
Two more. Okay.
Say finally, I got 2 more quickly. Keely and Feely's deaths, as I said in the books, they died defending Thorin. In this, one of them dies kind of pointlessly as he's thrown off a freaking ledge.
He was fridged.
And the other one, pardon?
He was fridged.
He was fridged, literally. And the other was kind of died fighting with the woman and for the woman he loves. and so that we could have a heartbreaking moment with Fanduriel. I'm just in reforge it and just make it what it was. Just reforge it, make them, bind them with Thorin, make them die fighting for Thorin, make it more of a family thing, because I don't think it doesn't really draw on the fact that they are all cousins and they're all kind of the closest to each other out of the dwarves. And we don't see that because one of them's too busy making kissy faces at an elf. But yeah, 100% reforging this.
Straight into fire.
Straight into the fire, just fucking...
Straight into the fire.
Damn. Okay. Ashley Hobley.
I say keep it, I think it sets the stakes, because Thorin's been telling Philly, you're going to be the next king in case if I die or anything. And the first thing he does, kills him, and he's going to fill Philly's oath. He's going to kill the bloodline. Going to take Roman out, rain straight off at the head. And then...
I'd like to cut that part out, please.
And then Killy,
He could have lost the belt by the time this podcast publishes. You don't know.
I doubt it.
But he'll still be head of the bloodline. Am I right?
All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm fine with Killy dying that way. I mean, they never got to fully address their love at any point. Or like say, there was no like on the nose thing like, hey, we'll talk about this after the battle or whatever. So yeah, it was fine.
And finally, the last one of the Hobbit trilogy, Fanduriel, Legolas, and Fanduriel. What is her name again? Fanduriel, that's it. Just fucking. Even though I lovely
Toriel, her name's Toriel.
Toriel. I don't know why I had Fanduriel. Who is the fuck is Fanduriel?
Isn't he Fanduriel?
He's
the boss.
Fanduriel.
You know what? I've written the same name kind of twice.
You're like, I'm going to pronounce it differently because they're two different.
No. One I've written with a TH and one I've written with an F.
Okay.
Fuck this movie. But Toriel, even though I love Lee Pace's performance and I love the elements it gives to Fanduriel, I don't need this. I don't need Fanduriel being like, hey, Legolas, you're a bit broken-hearted, son, but there's a ranger boy who's goes by Strider out there in the north. You should go find him. Oh, but his name? Can't tell you his name. You're gonna have to find out for yourself. Yeah, nah, fuck it off. Go into the fire.
Can I also say, based on the maths I was doing last week, none of this makes actually adds up to make any sense.
No.
So I'm throwing him into the fire because we were saying he's like,
well, he's 80. He's 80 something at the start of Fellowship, and this happens. This is like 60.
This is like 80. Yeah.
This is something This is only. This is like 60 years before.
Yeah. So he's like somewhere between. He's like early 20s, if that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense.
But maybe Maybe he's calling him a boy because in elven life cycles, he's still very young.
Oh, yes. Anyway, I'm throwing into fire. It's a very dumb scene.
Yeah. 100%.
I just reforge it. Make it a little bit cleaner. It's fine.
Can I ask a question, Ash? Did you throw anything into the fire in any of these?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I threw something in the fire.
Yeah. What was it?
I can't remember.
Your ability not to be a fucking sellout?
He's such an apologist. He is such an apologist.
I don't want any of this stuff to go to waste. That's what I'm saying.
You know why it shouldn't have gone to waste? Because it didn't fucking exist before these movies.
Pretty sure on the first one I threw some stuff in the fire. So I mean, it's fine.
Possibly. Maybe that was back when you were cool. I guess.
Back when okay, it will be funny if I don't throw anything in fire anymore.
You piece of shit.
No, but then now you set it up like Strider. If do you reckon people watch these like people for the first time would watch these in chronological order?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't think.
Okay, you were introducing somebody to this, would you show it to them in chronological order?
Fuck no! I just not show them this at all and just show them Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings covers this whole story off in like 5 minutes. It gives you the key points. Hey, Bilbo, he's Frodo's uncle. He went on this adventure. He came back with a sword, a ring, and a fucking mithril armor. We're good. We Gucci. Let's go. Even actually, no. Sorry, this is okay. One final rant. How fucking stupid is fucking Gandalf? You've just gone, and this movie makes him look even fucking worse than he was originally. Originally, at least in the book, it's just a magic ring he found while he's been fucking off around the fucking, while he's been adventuring. Gandalf's been back and forth. He's like, what up? I kind of know about this ring, but it's fine. We don't care. In the movie, he's just been fucking around with Sauron. He knows Sauron's coming back. He knows that Sauron wants the One Ring. All of a sudden, this Hobbit turns up with a fucking magic ring, and Gandalf's is just like, I got you, boy. I know about this ring. It's okay, though. You're not good enough to be this stealthy.
You're not important enough for anybody to find out about this.
Like, it's not even like hey, can I just take a look at that ring for a second? Like, just for a hot second, just so I know.
No, he says he lost it. Bilbo's like, I lost it, mate.
Yeah, but at the same time, Gandalf doesn't buy that
a
for
lot
a
of
second.
things, but he is not a liar. That's what he was pretty much saying at the end.
Gandalf, because even the thing after Bilbo turns and starts walking away, Gandalf does the whole face drop of, bitch, I know you still got that ring. You lied to me. I still know you got it.
After all we've been through.
It makes Gandalf look fucking stupid. And it's just... Yeah.
It's like, I saw the prophecy. I need to let this Hobbit keep this ring. Otherwise I won't be able to destroy it at the right time.
Man, rings. Rings haven't been a big, powerful thing in this fucking world, have they? No.
All right. Well, that will bring us to the end of our Hobbit rewatch. We are getting into Lord of the Rings next week, which is really exciting. The sole reason we got here in the first place, the sole reason I purchased my extended cut Blu-rays in the first place, everything. So it's all about to happen, everyone. Look forward to that.